On this Garlic Marketing Show, I got two of the smartest guys in AI, and we're going to tell you everything you need to know about everything. Taha, Mark, say hi.
Hello, welcome.
And today we're going to talk. About some of the AI hacks. The number one thing that everyone in your company should be doing. Their favorite AI tools. One of the best AI hacks I've ever learned to really help have context in AI. What you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, who you should follow, how to think about this, the big mindset shift you should make. It's probably such a fast accelerator on AI. All that's in the Garlic Marketing Show, but of course, brought to you by videocasestory.com. One of the best things you can do for your business is collect your customer stories. Go to videocasestory.com/finder, where we will help you find your $1 million case story. All right, let's get started. Sorry, I'm all sweaty. It's all hot here in Florida. It's October and it's hot. So tell us a little bit about your backgrounds, first of all, and how you guys, tell us about your communities and your backgrounds, and then we're going to get into some of the hacks, what people should be doing, what tools right now. But first of all, how'd you guys meet?
Sure.
I feel like it's a couple of questions.
I can start with how we met. I think that's probably the most relevant, at least to this conversation.
Yeah.
So I've been in business probably 7 years, right?
Okay.
I've had a lot of ups, lots of downs, some successes, some failures.
Good.
And then about 3 years ago, I tried running a marketing company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
It's tough.
It is tough. Yeah, it's only getting tougher. I tell this a lot of people who are trying to run ads even now. Part of the reason why we do content, because I really do believe that as hard as ads are today, they are probably the easiest they will ever be. Which is why I push people towards organic. But so I tried doing that. And then about 6 months later, GPT came out. And then that at least to me resonated a lot more, because at least the difference between GPT and ads is I know if I put $1 into GPT or if I sell AI services, I always get the result. It's not there's no if, buts, or maybes, right? There's no algorithm that can screw up my analytics. So we sort of slowly shifted from marketing towards AI. About a year into that, I started making content, helping others how to use AI, especially contractors. That was my big niche.
Okay, contractors.
Yeah.
They definitely need it. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think all local services businesses do that. Like, try calling a place at 7 p.m. today.
Yeah.
Nobody picks up.
No, and I definitely want to talk about that too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a gigantic problem. So that's where we started. And then I joined a community, funny enough, of other, you wouldn't call it early AI adopters, but other people who are early in the AI game. And Mark also happened to be in that community. And very similar to this, actually, I found out he lives like an hour away from me. So I'm like, well, I need to get you on a podcast. And there's a video to this day on my YouTube channel, the first time we ever had a long conversation. And I recorded it. I asked him, because he had a lot of success at that time with some of the products he was doing. So I just interviewed him for like 45 minutes. And we found out, hey, I actually like this person.
Yeah.
He's actually kind of cool.
He's bearable.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's the best way, right? It's exactly our story of like meeting you guys and like, oh, they're smart, and like, hey, let's have them on the podcast, right?
And we realized we were both sort of climbing the same mountain, so we decided, well, let's climb it together, right? Started working together, and now here we are.
Nice.
That was almost 2 years ago now.
Nice.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's my side of it.
And you guys both have communities. Tell me the names of the communities.
Yeah, so we have like this value ladder community. So we start out the theme is early AI. So you're early to the game. So either you're a starter, you're an adopter. That's my community that I run. His is a profiter. So how do you make money with the knowledge you've acquired by adopting it? Mm-hmm. Then we have one more we're going to release for more C-suite and employees called AI Masters in the new year. So that's kind of like the stack of communities we have right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, and speaking of early, a lot of people are like, oh, I missed the AI boat, or I'm going to wait. Where do you feel we are in the AI spectrum?
Sure.
Yeah, so I think it will continue to be early so long as you're on top of it. So we first started with how do you prompt ChatGPT 2023? The model's so dumb, but it's so smart compared to what we had before.
Yeah.
How do you prompt reasoning models? Oh, how do I prompt this thing called Midjourney? How do I prompt this video model called Veo 3? It's going to keep changing. It's going to change to the point where eventually, in the next 2-3 years, we're going to have humanoid robots that work with you at home. And the way you speak to them, you'll have to prompt engineer how you say, go fold my clothes, right? So those skills will be evergreen, but their applications will change over time. So to answer the question, you can be early because as soon as something brand new comes out, a lot of times, a lot of the old world that's only a few months to years old gets killed. Mm-hmm. So you have a new chance to hop on the new train that popped up. So while we're recording this, Sora 2 was released.
Oh my gosh.
If you now become an expert at Sora 2, you can have new opportunities, make some money. didn't exist 5 months ago, and all your skills from Sora 1 are not really relevant anymore.
Yeah.
So you always have these new things you can hop on that you can become a micro expert in before the next trend comes.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I mean, I'm in Mark's community, and do you just test stuff all day?
Yes.
Like literally, because it's like, I'm like, hey, how do we do this? Like, oh, I made a video on this. I'm like, that came out like 10 minutes ago. And then like, that's why I was like, are you sure you're not just an AI doing all this? And like, it's like max headroom. So, real quick, what's your tips on Sora 2 right now?
Sora 2?
Yeah.
I would say like the biggest change it's made is like whenever these updates come out, you have to look at the entire ecosystem and ask what has changed. So up until now, the only way to do cloning of yourself into a video reliably or somewhat reliably was HeyGen. They've raised millions of dollars. I think 60 million was their last round. And overnight, with one update, right? It's not that they're irrelevant, but now it's really competitive because Sora 2 will release an API. Once that's out, one, we're gonna have AI slop all over the place. Two, we're gonna have a social media app that now competes with AI slop on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
So now that will cannibalize that market. There's all these after effects that happen with one single thing that changes.
I know, it's crazy. This year I got into Sora 2. I was like, we made 6 videos in like 5 minutes. And so we we're going to bring Indy, our dog. And I took a picture of her face. And this is what was really weird, because she's a very weird dog, because her face looks like she's like a bigger dog.
Yeah.
But she has a dachshund body and tiny legs and this curved tail. And she has a very deep bark. And all I did was take a picture of her face, and it made a video of her exact body.
Whoa.
And like it moved exactly like her, right, Max? Max, it was weird. Max, like, this is so weird.
That's crazy.
And like it's picked up that her name was Indy from her tag, so it was like, "Hey, Indy," and it was like talking to her.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's scary.
It's insane.
I saw a video yesterday. I was telling the guys about this. It was Michael Jackson in a KFC with a bucket of chicken, and he was singing or something
And running with it around.
Correct. And the thing that got me off guard was I didn't realize it was AI until I saw the comments. The thing that was weird to me was, so in my mind, it was almost like a calculation. So it was more probable that there was a real person, a real Michael Jackson impersonator doing all this crazy stuff over it being AI. It seemed more likely that this was a real video compared to just AI.
It was so perfect.
It's really weird.
Except at the end, there's like a random car inside the KFC. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't see
like
that.
Right at the end, there's like a car right next to the table. And I'm like, but still.
It's weird because like if I hadn't gone to the comments, I would have just scrolled. In my reality, that would have been a real event that had happened, and I just would have kept going. I never would have even thought that's AI.
Yeah, and what's interesting I see from a social media aspect is how they've adapted the faces. And all of a sudden, Sam Altman, like, you kind of knew what his face looked like, but now he's going to be super famous.
Yeah,
because he's in every single video.
Yeah, so like, there's so many things, and also there's like this tinfoil hat conspiracy that if anything's ever found poor on Sam Altman, because there's some allegations of all kinds of things, that they'll be able to say, oh, it was some fabricated using the Sora 2 model because my face is everywhere. So now it acts also as possible plausible deniability. Again, tinfoil, but it's not out of the question.
It's not
for
out
that.
of the question.
Yeah.
No. How, like, when something like that comes out,
yeah,
how do you think about using it? Like, am I going to go, like, because most people, what they do, they get it and they're like, I remember, what was the audio app? They're like, this is the new thing. It was like, what was it?
The music one, maybe?
No, the one where everyone could have like talks and.
Oh, Notebook LM, right? When they do like the podcast feature. Oh no,
way
before that.
Before then.
Okay.
11 Labs, maybe.
What was it called? It was like, anyways, it was like someone could come in and be live on audio, and you could join and listen to them. It was like 5 years ago.
Oh, Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Clubhouse is the thing, and everyone rushed in. Join me on Clubhouse, and that lasted like 6 months.
Yeah.
How do you? I mean, with everything moving in, how do you make the decision that, hey, this is a Clubhouse or this isn't a Clubhouse?
Yeah, I have my answer, and I'll let you.
It's interesting because, like, because the businesses that we help, right? People tend to forget. You asked a question earlier, which is, how do you keep up, right? Mm-hmm. But people forget how big. You want to jump in?
No, keep your hands down.
Oh yeah. People forget. You're good. People forget how big the world is.
Yeah.
And they see these new tools like Sora 2 come out, and like, oh, it's the end, right? Or they'll see one new LLM, it's over. But I always go back, I talk about this on a lot of my consulting calls, I always go back to, go on Google Maps right now. Start Googling any business. Try to call them at night. Try to text them. You're not going to get anything back.
Yes.
It's insane. People, they go on social media and they'll see all of these tools and they'll think that everybody in the world is using them. It's too late. You said about saturation.
Yeah.
And we are so early to this wave. And I know it can be easy to feel like it's too late, but I promise you, 80% of businesses, like real applications, they're not even using GPT, not even ChatGPT. So if you're watching this, you are probably on the what's the 99 percentile?
The cusp.
Top 1%.
Yeah,
correct.
You're 1%.
And it's not even close.
You guys are 1%ers for listening.
Genuinely.
And it's, that's one thing that I stress too. The thing you said is what I call the green zone. It's like where the money is made. Because so many people come to me and they're like, I want to make all these videos for my business. I'm like, but you're not answering the phone. You want to get more leads, but Sunday night is when people are thinking about working with you. And that's so you have that, but coming back to deciding which tool to use.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna take that one.
Yeah.
So I will look at everything that comes out. That's why in the community, you will see 1% of what worked and I thought was actually useful.
Interesting.
So I basically go in front of the front lines and I take all the bullets proverbially, and then I see what's useful and what sticks, and then I watch it. So with Sora 2, to answer your question, I'm just looking at it. I tried a couple things. I want to see in 2 weeks, what does the model look like?
Yeah.
Do they dilute their model? Do they nuke their model? Does it become less impressive? What happens to the volume of uploads? What happens when they release an API? Does it now, does the quality degrade? So I watch for a bit before I say do anything with the technology. Some things are instant. So if Claude, let's say, releases on Claude AI, a brand new way that makes PowerPoints so incredibly easy that you can replace the other AI tools that you would otherwise use, I'll hop on that right away, because that's a very tangible value exchange, and it's like a deterministic thing on the back end that can see, okay, this has now changed forever moving forward. All of these other tools are irrelevant. Let's adopt this right now. That makes sense. That's a step change that makes perfect logical sense. With Sora 2, experimental, brand new. We have no clue how it's going to work at scale. We went from hundreds of users to now everyone's sharing codes to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. What happens at millions of users?
I can't imagine like the server,
server
load alone.
And I'm also waiting for the imminent disasters of cyberbullying in schools. You can only imagine the amount of damage Sora 2 will do to kids in schools. So for me right now, I'm just like pausing and waiting and seeing how this plays out.
Yeah.
With something super experimental, I don't recommend people use it in production until, excuse me, you see how it rolls out.
That's great advice. And so, then people watch these YouTube videos of someone going, I made this awesome thing with Sora 2. How are, because you guys make it. And what I love is like, especially in the community, Mark does a great job. You do a great job of not just showing what works, but leaving in some of the frustration, which I think is important, because it's like, if you feel like you're frustrated and alone, you're not, because there's all some level of frustration. When these YouTube videos are like, look, I just put this prompt in and I've got a 20 agent army and I just retired, right? How would you suggest people watching all those videos, or just only subscribe to your guys' channel? Is that what you're saying?
No. So, sorry.
No, there's a good analogy that I like, because people often ask, what tools do I use? And the analogy is this. Like, let's say you're building a shed, right? The way you pick a tool is based on what you're trying to fix first. Meaning you don't go into Home Depot, right? And just go start browsing the tool section. Be like, you know what? That drill looks cool. Let me try to figure out what I can build with that.
I do that.
Okay. What you should be doing.
Most people, you shouldn't be doing that.
Correct.
I want that thing. I have no idea what it does.
But that's what people do. Literally right now, they'll look at a tool like, how can I use this tool? And to me, at least, it can for a lot of people, can be very distracting, because every week there's something new. So my suggestion, if you want to make real applications, figure out what the problem is. What are you trying to fix? And then figure out what tool is best for that. Figure out what you're trying to build, the shed, the dock, whatever it is. And then find the tools for that. Don't start with the tool and then figure out, what can I do with this?
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, on YouTube, you are rewarded as a creator for the more audacious title and thumbnail that you can combine together. So when you say, I just automated anything with X, and then there's a picture of you doing this, and X outcome is there, you will get 5-10 times more views, especially if there's a content gap and it's brand new. That's the name of the game. So when I release content, I know I am going to take 10x less views, but I would rather the audience that's watching me know that, listen, this is cool. Here's what's not cool about it. Here's what you could probably use it for. Here's what I wish was there. Here's what I'll be looking out for. So that's how I break it down. So you can consume a lot of this content, but it's really important to be intentional when you consume it. So if you read the title, you just keep the automate anything at the door, the title, and you just go in and see, okay, cool. What are the core features they're going over? Boom, 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 boom. Cool. I'll test that out, but leave the promises at the door, because we as creators are incentivized to sell you the world. So you watch till the very end, and we have a CTA, and we hope you convert based on that CTA.
Yeah, or watch 3 more videos.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting too, because coming back, you know, YouTube is definitely someplace we focus. Is the smart people, the smart money, the people that you want to hire you, respect that, and they're not going to like or comment or go be upset. They're going to be like I did. It's like, okay, I respect this. Okay, I'm going to move forward, and they're going to get less views. And it's something I talk about. You know, it's because the lunkers, the big clients, are they don't comment, they don't like, and there's a whole lot less of them.
Yes.
So, but that's where you'll make the money.
Yeah, I mean that's where you'll get the people that you want to be around you.
Yeah.
I've been a part of communities where it's like the hype beast train.
Yeah.
And you learn nothing. It's like you build 1,000 half-built bridges of knowledge, and you take nothing till the end zone. Meaning, when you try to build something, you have half an idea of how to use 10 different tools, versus being an absolute expert at 3 and being a monster. And that's the goal.
Yeah. No, it's true. And I think it's so important for people to realize this, because I see this all, and I want people to come be a part of the community, but also I want people to realize that there's a promise of AI and there's a reality of AI. And so coming to the reality of AI, where, like, let's use contractors as an example. Sure. Where should contractors be using AI right now?
Sure. I categorize these into 2 different buckets. Either make more money or you save time, right? And I actually think there's 3 different categories of AI. I categorize them as, you have automations. That's anything that used to take 10 hours. If you can bring it down to 5 minutes, you can automate, typically back-end stuff. Then you'll have agents. In my definition, by the way, everybody defines agents differently. For me, agents is, think of it as something like a way you can interact with an AI. It has an interface. Typically it's chat or voice, and typically it can do something. So for me, a big product that we had was chat agents. Those little widgets on the websites.
Yeah.
Agent. It can talk to you and it can take your information. Then the third, which is kind of, I don't know if it's super relevant, but it would be like SaaS. These are tools, right? That would be your Lovable, your Bolts, stuff like that. The biggest opportunities for most businesses today is, for me, chat agents, or just agents in general. Because if you can just get more customers, most businesses will be happy with that. And I mean, I bring this up again and again, but it really does kill me that most businesses aren't available for 10 hours of the day.
Yeah.
They're not available. And you're like, how do I make more money? Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Talk to your customers. Like,
talk to your customers. That's what. Yeah, exactly. That's why I tell people. I love that, because it's not it's everyone is trying to get AI agents so they can spend less time with their customers. I'm like, let AI get you to spend more time and more quality time with your customers. That's awesome.
There was a research. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Tell me the research.
There was. I've been studying on this. I think the number was like 89% of people, especially the younger generations, they want to text. They want to be. They want. They don't want to talk even on the phone. A lot of, if you look at anybody who's, I don't know, 25 or younger, everything they're doing is text. They can't even call their own dentist to book their appointments. They're still going to their parents. But then, especially a lot of these older businesses, they rely on form fills and phone calls. But if you just give them a way for your customers to be able to interact with you in the way that they want to interact with you, you'll get more leads.
Yeah, and like just like a really tangible example is, I just called, back home in Canada, a security company. I was looking for security cameras for my house. And the person on the phone was just like very short of patience. I was just trying to get him to explain the options to me. I'm not an expert in this domain.
Yeah.
I'm looking for help, and I have a credit card I'll give you if you can help me with this thing. And they made me feel guilty for calling. So what's the result of that interaction?
Yeah.
I'm not going to work with them because I feel nervous to get on the phone, as if I'm burdening you by asking you to help me so I can give you money for your service.
It's crazy, right?
It is, especially in this world of contractors and services. AI can help a lot because some people were made to do the thing, not to interact to accomplish and sell the thing.
Exactly. It's a huge opportunity.
It's gigantic.
And I love the idea of being where they are. And it's not that hard now, is it?
No.
Like, so what are your favorite ways of making that happen right now?
When it comes to service businesses specifically, because that's the majority of what we deal with, the simplest thing is, let's get the easy stuff out of the way. Meaning, if I can't reach your business 24 hours a day, that's where I start. Like, leave the Geminis, leave the complicated models aside. Like, don't worry about SOAR 2. Fix the phone situation. Fix the chat situation. That's where I start. Like, and for any business who's watching this, if you don't have that, that's number one. Everything else is side note. Like, make more money, get more leads. Once you've
close the leads, right?
That's-
Because there's people hitting their website. Like you said, like when did you call that security company? What time?
Last Wednesday on like 2 p.m.
Okay, so it was during the day because you own your business, but so many people call it 7, 8, 9 o'clock, like especially service business.
I made a video about this. I tried calling a maid cleaning service on a Sunday at 7. Nobody picked up.
No.
And here's the thing about that people don't get. They're like, oh, leave a voicemail. The thing that happens is I call it the problem-solving zone, right?
Yeah,
Let's say I want to like groom my dog.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have like a 5-minute period in my day where this is all I'm gonna think about. I'm gonna call every single business in that list, right? In that Google Maps thing, and who doesn't pick up, I'm gonna go to the next person. And people think sometimes I'll get the comment of, oh, but if it's a robot, they won't, like, people won't interact with it.
That's changed a lot.
It has changed. And people make the mistake is the reason people don't like robots typically is because they associate them with IVRs. That whole press 1 for accountability, press 2 for sales, whatever.
Yeah, I'm like zero.
Yeah,
Talk to
agent.
someone.
Yeah.
Agent.
But when I love, when we listen to voice recordings, I love seeing the difference in intonation when people realize that this robot is actually useful. That's the difference.
It's a huge difference.
It is.
We've been talking about it becomes kind of a confessional, and they'll say more actually,
Correct.
won't they?
They will. And because people mistake the voice with the uselessness, meaning customers will forgive latency. They don't care if it's a robot. They can't, are you solving my problem? If I'm calling a dog grooming business, if I'm calling a maid cleaning service, I don't care who's picking up the phone. I just want my problem to be solved.
And just in case there is a problem with the person, they want to speak to someone during the hours of operation, you can have the best of both worlds. And like we call this the surplus opportunity, meaning between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., nobody was going to answer the phone. It's going to be voicemail.
Yeah.
So in those hours, if you have an AI, even if it's not a human, your alternative was zero, meaning just a voicemail. So you can keep the human interaction throughout the day if you want that touch and feel, but you can do from 6 p.m., 6 a.m., set up your next day's worth of appointments or answer questions and save yourself the onload at 9 a.m. the next day of a bunch of procedural Q&As that they could have taken care of last night. That's where you can be also dynamic with where you employ the AI. It doesn't have to be between business hours and after. You just do after, you do before, you can switch it up.
It's such a huge opportunity. And also the data is what I see. It's like, because you get to learn more and more about your customers. Mm-hmm. And that's where, I mean, our whole business is around that. And, you know, we interview people's clients. And every time I'm like, they're like, well, can't we just send them a questionnaire? I'm like, watch the difference when we interview them and they talk to someone and they're like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about that person. It is a huge opportunity. And so we get the agents down. And I know everyone's like, okay, I'm going to get the agent, but what's next? What do you see as the next opportunity?
You got anything?
Yeah, I do.
Please.
So it all goes back down to like data principles. So 6 years ago, when I was a data scientist, the hottest world, you can look it up, the sexiest job alive was data scientist in AI.
Yeah.
And that's the one I was coveting for, and I finally got it. So the beauty is once you have all these agents do stuff for you, collect the calls, get the voicemails, get the chat transcripts, what do you do with that now? Like, how do you turn those assets or artifacts into things you can store into a CRM that enriches your conversation, that makes your back and forth between their chat agent or voice agent that much richer? Is how do you use the sawdust from the AI stuff you've already employed to repurpose that into even richer experiences for your customer, better nurture, targeting, drip, promotional campaigns tailored to individual customers? There's so much you can do, and especially just to finish off that voice agent example, we built a voice agent in the education space. And then if someone had a Spanish accent while they were speaking, it would actually turn into Spanish and say, hey, do you want to continue the conversation in Spanish? So it's even meeting people where they're at the micro levels where it really matters too. Or if someone has a thick German accent, it might flip just to have that conversation so they can go from idea to verbal thought, express themselves however they want, but get the service they want in the way they want it.
Hyper customization. I mean, it's the future, and that's fantastic. And I'll have to disagree because you called it sawdust, and I think it's really the gold because it's going to be the differentiator. And it's funny because so many people still, and I've been talking a lot about this. When I started in SEO a long time ago, people were still had the yellow pages, and they'd be like, "Well, I'm in the yellow pages." I'm like, "Well, no one's going to use the yellow pages soon." And then it was like, even in 2010, I had people going, "The internet, is that thing still around?" But it's amazing to me. We haven't had yellow pages in how long? People still think that it works like the yellow pages, where someone calls and they've already decided, and they're going to get you. And I'm like, no, they're doing so much research, and they're doing that research. Like I said, they have different questions on the call, and you get that data out of there. And I think this is important. So like when you're looking at that data, because you're a data scientist, what types of data are you pulling out that maybe people aren't thinking about?
Sentiment analysis is one of the most valuable things. So one, how did the call go? Did they get the outcome? That's very binary. But how did the call flow? Did it sound like they were frustrated? Did it look like they were being too brief? Did it look like the AI was interrogating the customer versus actually speaking with the customer? So these are things that are very touchy-feely that in aggregate give you a really good snapshot over the experience, how your customers want to be spoken to, different ways you could have pivoted the conversation, potential opportunities for upsell. There's so much gold, like you said, that lies in these conversations. If you can tap into what's actually being said at a very grand level.
Yeah, this goes beyond just customers. Right now, I used to work corporate, and the way they would get feedback from their employees is, I'm sure you've seen this, like 1 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
How good is your team leader?
NPS score.
Yeah, but you could apply the same logic. This is like a new dimension where instead of a binary of 1 to 5, imagine you had a voice agent that would call your employees every X days and say, how are you feeling? How's work? How you doing?
Yeah.
Tell me more. And human beings are designed to have conversations like these. They're not designed to like even when you type something, it takes so much more energy to type something down than if I'm talking.
Exactly.
So if you can meet me where I'm at, where you make it as frictionless as possible for me to give you my feedback, you will get so much better data than just 1 out of 5.
It's crazy. Yeah, and I don't think people realize that. And it's because I have a client right now that has like a 20 question form on his website. He got like 400 form fills. And he's like, but that weeds out the people. I'm like, but it doesn't weed out the best people, because the best people, even, like, it's a form, right? And like you said, it's a human thing. And I think you were the one that first taught me about whisper flow.
Yeah.
And that's just a game changer. And it's like, now I feel like my computer's stupid if it doesn't work. Like when whisper flow is not working, I'm like, how do I do this? And this is amazing, that sentiment analysis and listening to them talk. And I think everyone's going in such a, like, hey, I want to make all these videos automatically and get 10,000 YouTube subscribers. and then this is the way to do it. So structuring this, because I think this is the problem now, people get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
How do you decide who to work with? Do you do it in-house? Do you just go join your community? Do you how do you find the right person to help you with this? Because there's a lot of people that are just learning on YouTube and then going, I'm gonna go sell this to someone. I'm like, well,
yeah,
maybe you should.
I'm very contrarian about this, so I don't know if you want to go.
Okay.
I'm very contrarian. I think as of today, a lot of agency models won't work well for certain types of companies, meaning some companies should consider doing this in-house. But people that were going to build it before can now educate these companies on what they would need in terms of resources, talent, and equipment, software to make it happen. Because as we've worked with hundreds of clients, we noticed that with a fraction of them, their business is so tailored. They don't have SOPs. They don't have things written down. There's a lot of knowledge that's tacit knowledge. As we're building for them, requirements would change. It's not because they're not great people, but they would realize that they've not articulated things in the business that happen that they have failed to document in an artifact somewhere that we could follow. That turns into this nightmare scenario where we build, we iterate, the price is the same. We build, we iterate, the price is the same, because they didn't give us all the information. That would make sense for someone to have someone designated in their business as an automation specialist that's embedded, that learns the business, learns the tacit knowledge, becomes familiar with it, and then they build AI solutions with all of this in mind. Because as an agency, even if we're like decent, we can't become a full expert in everyone's business. Because like the same contract, the same roofing business in the same city on 2 different blocks will operate very differently in the person's mind. That's where using an agency and employing an agency might not make sense. Other side, where it might make sense, is if you are an enterprise, you have a whole budget, you have a surplus just for AI education. Ideally, you don't want someone from your company to have to go upskill themselves, then find a way to make them a good teacher, then find a way to teach your team how to do the thing. That's a problem that's already been solved. That's inefficient use of time.
Yeah.
That's where using an agency is helpful. So because we've seen hundreds of cases, many industries, we can bring all that, been there, done that knowledge to your employees, right? And that's where we can really move the needle for you. So we empower your people. So I think that in the next 12 to 18 months, it's gonna be less agency build this for me. It's going to be more help me build it, empower me or myself or my team to build it together.
That's great. I think that's super smart. And I mean, I'm the same way with like with video case stories. I'm like, we should help you. But you should have someone inside who's the master of your stories, who understands the stories of your business and understands your customer better than anyone else.
Yep.
I should not be the person that owns your customer.
Yeah. There's a quote that we liked that we started saying quite a lot, which is, before we automate, let's systematize. Meaning people try to go from 0 to 1, right, immediately. And where that creates a lot of friction is, to your point, tacit knowledge, right? Stuff that we never could have known, or stuff that we only would have known if we had worked in your business for like a year. So before you try to automate everything, is every process in your business documented? Like, is it written anywhere? If you didn't know about it already, would you know what to do? If somebody came virgin eyes, would they understand what to do? A lot of the times the answer is no.
Yeah.
So if you're going to hire an agency and you don't have processes in place, they're going to have a tough time.
That's why I say very provocatively on some calls, AI is a luxury, not like a right of the business. So if you don't abide by the law of business physics, meaning you have no processes, you have no techniques, you have no one in the organization then that is the wealth knowledge point, you're not eligible to use AI yet. You have to earn that. You earn that by running a proper business first and having the proper artifacts in that business to use AI effectively. Because you can build any automation. You can build an AI automation that is the equivalent of driving a garbage truck on fire down a hill. It will work, but it's built on a foundation of like a house of cards.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's very true, and systems, business fundamentals have to be there, and because otherwise AI is just gonna, like anything else, compound the problem.
It's an amplifier.
Yeah,
it's like money.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna get worse results. All right, so this is fantastic because it's fundamentals, and folks, if this is what October 2025. So I want to talk tactics right now. So this will probably change by 2 weeks
Tomorrow.
from now.
2 minutes from now.
I already changed.
But I want to talk about like your favorite tools, where someone should get started tool wise. I want to talk about Claude Code because I love Claude Code. You know and how you use it. But first, like where obviously you guys are testing stuff out. Are you paying attention to anyone else? Like, are you watching other YouTube videos?
Always.
And which ones you think are good?
I've got a contrarian take this time.
You go for it.
Yeah. Mark is the one who's super deep in the weeds on the cutting edge. Yeah. The cutting edge.
Yeah. Like I don't think everyone should be in your community because it's like
it's the second step.
I'll leave it and then go start to talking to someone. I went to a community of top level entrepreneurs one time, like recently, like a $50,000 a year mastermind, and I was like, blah 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 blah, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, MCPs, and then you have to take NAN, and they're like, what are you talking about?
What are those words?
My view on it is I actually put on, those when horses run, they have blinders on?
Yeah.
Right? So I am very much what problem am I trying to solve? What tool can I use to solve this specific problem? Yeah. Most people, honestly, the basics is, I actually heard this yesterday. It's actually, I think what most people need to do is a mindset shift. If you're going to search something up, try using ChatGPT instead of Google. This is the vast majority of people today are still using Google for the majority of it. So if you want to start becoming a company that is more AI powered, that's starting to come into that realm, try to switch to Reflex. So instead of Google, ChatGPT. The next big one for me was save time.
I was stopping you there. Do you think learning using the AI? I find ChatGPT pisses me off because it lies a lot.
Sure.
And it's like, you should do this thing. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, that just broke, or that doesn't exist. You out of the LLMs. Which do you think is the best for it? Is it ChatGPT?
My point with ChatGPT isn't necessarily about the agent itself because it does have its flaws completely.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to instill is a reflex of how do I start thinking about AI in the entirety of the rest of my business?
Yeah.
Because if to me, I view Google as the old world. The new world is the models, the AI, the LLMs, whatever. If you start to think every problem through this lens, it becomes so much easier to start creating processes and automations around it. That's the reason why. I still would double check with Google afterwards, but make it your first reflex. What does ChatGPT say? And you'll find yourself getting so much better by just using it. Yeah. But you can't, there's a very big difference between theory and application. I can watch 1,000 videos about ChatGPT, but using it in my business when it's actually relevant is what makes me an expert over anything else.
And this is why I think community is so important too, because you've got to be able to talk to some people, because like even if you're using ChatGPT or one of them, you need to be able to talk to a real person. I can't tell you how many times it's I've talked and asked you a question, and I'm like, and trying to do this thing. ChatGPT is like, you should do all this stuff, and I'm like, and then Mark's like, no, you should do this one little thing. I'm like, oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But so your blinders are on. and you're in ChatGPT, but are you following anyone like YouTube wise?
I follow Mark. A lot of his advice.
Yeah,
that's
no,
funny.
it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But anyone else?
The biggest creators I follow, honestly, I try not to. I make
Yeah.
a very strong point of trying not to necessarily fall too deep into the rabbit hole because it takes me away from the day-to-day problems of real businesses.
We try to bifurcate our roles. So like, my job is to go into every single part of this like shadow realm of tools and models, so he can focus on what he's helpful with, which is like 0 to 1. What matters if you could sell, build with.
Yeah.
So we also bifurcate our focus. So I have an AI intelligence system, like an automation that watches every single creator above a certain subscriber count, what they're dropping, how they're releasing it, what is the reception, what are the comments. I have a full surveillance system. And I see the things that people love, and what I do is I just watch the comments. I don't look at the videos. There's a lot of people on YouTube that I call derivative creators. Meaning,
100%.
That popped off, that's my channel. I'm gonna make the same thing with my thumbnail, with this thing on that thumbnail, similar title.
God, I hate that thing.
Yeah. It's view harvesting.
Yeah.
People that are novel will stand out. And the thing is, a lot of the creators that like you'll benefit from are sometimes really small. Like someone's actually trying to build something and they just care to show you what they built.
They're not going to get the views because they're not extreme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for me, I don't follow one particular person. Like I'll watch once in a while, like obviously from Liam Motley, he'll walk through like different business models that are coming out. Once in a while, I'll watch like a podcast with Greg Eisenberg. I'll watch, let's say Ryan Brown do some vibe coding for completely non-techies. I like to vary perspectives because I like to live in the lane of, I want to make this really complex thing as explainable as possible, but also useful and practical, which is a really hard quadrant to hit all 4 markers. Usually everyone hits on like very sexy, practical, don't worry about that. Just watch it. Just watch it and like, subscribe. That's on the who to follow thing. On the tools, my number 1 right now is Claude Code.
Yeah.
Because I love being able to take entire stacks of tools and then distill them down into one command center. So with Claude Code, like I've been trying to show, even if you're not technical, 0 coding experience, you can open it up and use it like a much better version of ChatGPT, where you have different artifacts, assets, markdown files in general you can generate on steroids. You can vibe code there. You don't have to be at the mercy of these vibe coding platforms making an arbitrage over credits.
Yeah.
You can own your infrastructure, you can own your stack, you can own the flexibility, and you can see all the flaws yourself. And we're going to a place where we went from people are scared of code is hard, let's put a nice pretty shell on top of it. Now that pretty shell is stopping you from the full firepower of the code that's now way easier because of the intelligence of these models. So you can technically take a step back from these browser wrappers and go back to the roots, because now the roots have become enabled for both techies and non-techies.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the AI editor age is probably the most useful for anyone, irrespective of their background, because you can accomplish technical and non-technical tasks all in the same place, under the same subscription, under the same stack and roof.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think that it is. And, the biggest, like not hack, but tip that you gave me, and folks that like do this, is just tell it always to make a record of it. Tell them about the progress that I'm.
Sure, yeah. So let's say you want to create, let's say you want to vibe code an app, to-do list app. Let's make something simple. You can have a list, what's called a project requirements document, a PRD, where you say, okay, I want it, anytime I add something, it's going to be in an open form. I want to have a check mark to mark it as done. I want it to look blue and have glass morphism so it looks nice and sexy. I want it to have a database to store all this stuff. Great. So you have this to-do list. What happens in the course of the conversation with the AI is it forgets things, or the context window, meaning how long you can speak to it, gets filled up. So it starts to BS or hallucinate. So you can start a new session, but unfortunately, with a new session, it has no memory of the last session. So you can create an artifact that's called like progress, and you call it markdown file, and it stores this to-do list of what it's completed from your overall goal. So in that to-do list, it has context of what you're trying to build, how far you're at. So you could say, go look at our to-do list and where we're at from before, let's keep it going.
Yeah.
So now you're picking up where you left off, and it's easy. There's no third-party tools. It's literally a file.
It's awesome. Yeah, and also why we made this decision.
Exactly.
You have to make decisions, and then it's like, well, I want to do this thing again. And it's interesting because it's so relevant, because I see that in lots of companies, and they should be just have a markdown file for the entire company.
Yes.
Because someone leaves, and I've had this where like a new marketing director comes in, like, well, why don't we do this? I'm like, I don't like their markup on, like, because we tried that, it doesn't work, and so it's an awesome tool to have.
Yes.
And so what tools are you using the most, Taha?
I got the boring ones. They're not as exciting, not
No,
nearly as exciting as the Claude Code ones. The real my go-tos, Whisperflow. You use it.
Yeah, Whisperflow's
I think I've got like 170,000 words on there. It's
Oh,
like 10
yeah.
volumes. Whisperflow is a big one. Gemini is huge for me. One of the things that actually I did, which I should have done so long ago, the tool called Sesame. Essentially, it's a voice agent, right? But what I told it to do is I told it, interview me. You're an interrogator. I want you to interview me. I want you to ask me questions about my business, what I do, and ask me what I should focus on. Going back to, I bring this up a lot, but meeting people where they're at, I created a voice agent to meet me where I'm at in the way that is most comfortable for me to give it data. And I had like a 30-minute long conversation with this agent where I just went over every single problem in my business, what I'm trying to solve, the things that are on my mind. And then I just took that transcript and I made a to-do list of here's exactly how we're going to tackle every single problem, just by using what would take me normally like a week and ended up taking an hour.
I think that is such awesome advice, and something I'd learned, I think 3 months ago, 6 months ago, is having an interview, have a single document, and have it know everything about you. And it's so easy in your business. It's so easy to do. Now, you had it transcribed. Do you have a single document now that you're updating? How are you doing that technically?
I'll try this exercise about once a month, give or take, where every month I'm like, okay, new month, let's figure out what are the objectives for this month. Because I really do try to make a separation between what is it cool and nice to have versus what is a business requirement. What problem are we trying to solve? Back to before I figure out what tool I use, what am I trying to build? Let's start there, right? So I try to do about once a month, and they'll ask me, and this is just a prompting challenge of asking me questions about my business, what I'm worried about, what did I work on last month, what was the purpose of the stuff that I worked on last month, how did it go, and what was your feedback on it? And you'll realize as you do this month over month, you sort of build this knowledge base, and you can actually see your entire company history, which is kind of cool. But also, most importantly, doing this allows me to solve what I think is the biggest thing people fall for. They will do this called productive procrastination, which is they'll look into so much. They will look into everything, but not do anything.
Not you know. I don't know if you guys ever watched How I Met Your Mother.
I know of it.
So there's an episode where like he's starting his own architecture firm, and he's like, it's like the whole episode he's just doing research, and it's like people do this. I mean, they do this really bad too. It's like I get that all the time where people are like, well, I've got this idea for business. I want to do branding. I want to do video. I want to do website. I'm like, have you sold any of this thing? They're like, no. I'm like, go sell something, and it's so true. Like, go put it out there. It's such good advice. And how do you prevent that? Because it's easy. I mean, I think we can all fall into that. Like, I need to get this one thing done before I can do it.
One question I always ask myself every day: what problem am I solving? In every consulting call, whenever somebody asks me a question, hey, Taha, how do I approach this? Take a step back. What are we trying to solve?
Yeah.
What are we trying to achieve here? And then just work your way from there. But don't. The blinders on can be really damaging if you are focused on the tool over the problem that you're trying to solve. So that's how I approach every situation.
That's awesome.
AI is a vehicle. It is not a destination.
It's so true. And I always tell people that too. It's like, everyone goes like, I know who my ICP is. I'm like, but what problem are you solving for them? And it's a very different question. Because like, I want to work with attorneys, but what problem are you solving? I'm going to help them make more content. That no one wants more content. They might say that, but they have a problem they want to solve. So, Mark, what right now is your favorite AI hack?
AI hack?
Or tool or thing that like, oh my God, this is fun. This is something everyone should do. Or
it's actually super straightforward. I'll make it straightforward so it's not technical. So Taha mentioned Gemini.
Yeah.
I think that Gemini, like Google, will win the AI intelligence race.
Yes.
Not necessarily the usefulness race. That's still yet to be determined. Claude right now is probably the most useful, where it can build all these assets, really well. It can code really well.
Really well.
But Gemini, the ability that you can offer a video input and it can watch that video as the context, to me, like if you say a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video is worth millions of words, right? So what I love to do is I'll even upload sometimes a tutorial from YouTube. Instead of me watching it, I'll say, can you tell me which part of this is actually worth watching? Here's my goal. It'll tell me exactly what timestamps to watch in that video. So if you are consuming those, automate this, and I go on the beach and I drink pina coladas, you don't want to watch the whole thing, you can do that. The next thing is, let's say someone walks through a Miro board, walking through a concept, and I want to emulate that same style. I can upload that video and say, watch it, help me create like a little text file of exactly how I build my own Miro board for this topic in the same flow and style. So you can start to do all these like indie things
Yeah.
by using video input. And people really just don't take advantage of it. When I run into technical problems, I'll record a loop of myself venting of what I'm trying, what I see as the errors. I'll upload that to Gemini and be like, help, SOS.
Love that.
Now I can do deep research on that problem and come back to me with the most tailored advice possible. So this is something that anyone could do. You just upload a video up to like 1 million tokens, which is pretty decent, like a half an hour video in decent quality, and you can get all kinds of help. And you can save the dictation, you can save the prompting, you can save the images uploading, but just give it the video.
That's amazing. That's such a good hack. All right. I'm going to finish off with YouTube.
Okay.
So you guys are both, have YouTube channels. Where do you see you now, because of the proliferation of AI content, AI created content? Like one thing is I don't see you using, I was thinking about it, like a lot of AI B-roll. I've been kind of avoiding it for clients because of the like AI checkoff. Like, hey, I don't want a video with AI in it at all. Where do you see, because I don't see YouTube going away.
No.
And I think it's the best place. And obviously, the entire business went around it, but it's not. I don't have a business because I like YouTube. I have a business because I see YouTube being powerful.
Yep.
As creators, tons of views. Where do you see all this going? Like, what are you?
I have thoughts, but I'll probably be more long-winded.
I'll answer the AI sort of images portion. I think that people don't necessarily mind AI. They hate being tricked, so to speak.
Yeah.
Meaning that I'll make AI generated content that looks AI generated.
Yeah.
Meaning animations, stuff like that, cartoons. People don't mind those because it was never meant to trick the viewer.
Yeah, like the talking gorilla, right? Or
Correct.
like you know.
Yeah, or like an image. Let's say I just made a video where I'm explaining to somebody how to sell an agent, right? And I have like an animated version of me talking. It's obviously AI.
Yeah.
Where people, this even applies to the voicing that we spoke about earlier. People, the only thing you want to make sure of whenever you're using anything AI is people just don't want to be like, they want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't get a quick one over them, right? Like, don't try to trick them.
Yeah.
So if you're going to use AI generated content, be proud of your AI generated content and clarify this is AI.
Yeah.
And that's where I see a lot of people sort of make a misstep where they will try to fake or they will try to.
They're not intentional about it. They're like either they flex like I'm using AI generated content. Look how cool this is. And then in that case, people are receptive to it. They're like, okay, at least you're being straight with me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Versus, this is me, low key, but it's actually not you. That is building distrust. And we like have. Sorry, I don't want to take your point.
No, but that was exactly the point I was trying to make, which is that distrust doesn't come from the fact that it's AI generated. It's from the fact that you pretended like it was.
Yeah.
Right.
And so were you done? What I was gonna say is my answer is there's gonna be a wave where my kind of content will be less popular because it's not flashy and AI generated. But I'm betting on the fact that authentic vintage human stuff will come back in vogue really quickly because people will get exhausted. And we already have a lack of trust epidemic where people can't trust creators, they can't trust their own family, they can't trust their eyes, they can't trust their ears anymore.
Yeah.
So in an age of distrust, authentic human content, I think will do really well as long as the content itself is valuable.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so too. I think, when I think about like SEO and stuff like that, because there was always like spinning articles and all that stuff back in the day, and it comes back to the human experience, right? And where do you see YouTube in the face of all this? I mean, how are you like? Because obviously everything's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you even drive any traffic to a website besides the community?
No, it all comes through YouTube. That's pretty much it.
And it goes to like Gumroad and
Gumroad's a big part where like basically people will download the free resources we have. They come into our ecosystem, and then we have email marketing team that kind of helps us out with that.
Yeah.
Taha is on short form, so we've diversified our base by kind of also bifurcating not just our roles but where we operate.
Gotcha. So where do you live mainly?
I mean, right now it's a lot of it is short form, right?
Yeah.
And to answer actually your YouTube question, even at the beginning of this conversation, I spoke about organic. I think will have such a. Actually, let me take a step back. Ads are difficult, right? They're expensive, and I really do believe that this is as easy as they will ever be. Especially as right now, it's a bunch of marketers, like people, against each other. Eventually, like the stock exchange, it'll be a bunch of robots trying to market against each other, right? So the amount of the difference between good marketers is going to become sort of invalid. It's all the same robot, which means that marketing costs are going to go up. Every dollar, the cost per lead is going to explode. So then where are people going to go? They're not. Nobody likes being advertised to.
No.
Which is why I believe YouTube and any sort of real content is going to become so much more valuable because they're what is it called? I don't want to be advertised to. I want to see real people. I want to see real humans. Everything else is AI. In a world full of AI, I crave human connection, which is why I'm going to look at creators on YouTube, creators on Instagram. I want to see real people. So I do believe that, especially bigger businesses, you need to at least, if you're not organic at all, I don't think there's going to be a return now, but in 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, I think the majority of the money will come from organic.
You're on TikTok and going on Instagram as well?
Yeah. But any content, my point is it has to be real content. Not I paid for somebody to see it. It's, hey, no, this is how it actually works. And people often come to me like, oh, but my stuff's boring, right? And I think that's more of a perception because they live their life every day. But if I'm a contractor and I see what a dentist is doing, this stuff is brand new to me. This is super exciting. I have no idea how these people work. Vice versa, if I'm a dentist, like to me, my own job seems super boring because I do it every day.
Yep.
But people associate their individual boredom with this content is boring. But if you go on TikTok or Instagram now, you could have people driving excavators and they'll get like 1 million views because it's different to what they're used to.
Something I always tell like my clients too, it's like curse of expert. You think that all the stuff you know right over here that is the core of what you do is not good, and you need to talk about the thing that's over here in the margin. Like, but most people don't know, right? They're like all this stuff is brand new to people. If you're getting a divorce, most people don't know anything about getting divorced, right? And they don't know that any of those things, and that's super,
and even if they do know, maybe yours was different than theirs.
It's a different way, different way of doing it, and now we can experience the individual people because we're going to hire individual people, and I think that's super smart. All right, so parting words. What's the one thing besides build an agent that someone could do right now? Is it download Whisperflow? What's one thing you would tell any business to do right now?
My honest word of advice is don't think that any of this stuff is too advanced for you. Genuinely. Like nobody is born knowing AI or any of these things. We all learned them. I think a big block for a lot of people is that mentality of I'm not a technical person or this is too advanced for me. It's not. It's just maybe you're setting the bar too high. Instead of trying to use the most advanced tools, like we said at the beginning, are you using ChatGPT? If not, can you make that switch? Instead of searching where's the nearest bakery on Google, can you search on Perplexity? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Start there. Make the bar as low as possible and climb up.
I love that.
That would be my.
It's funny though because he took mine. I was gonna say like to remove limiting beliefs because like when I was a kid, I was an art contest winner. I was an artist. I wasn't actually a coder. I wasn't that good at math.
Oh,
so
wow.
Everything has been like hard work and just like self-teaching myself. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because my only obsession was history and building art and like sculptures and doing dot painting. So like I don't come from this prodigy technical background. That's number one. Number two is also pulling on one of Taha's threads is you earn the right to use AI. So you can start today just trying to become better than the average person at just using ChatGPT properly. The number one workshop that we teach for Fortune 500 companies is not how to build an agent. It's how your employees can stop using ChatGPT just to automate their email. It's how to use this thing called a connector. It's how to use a custom GPT. When to use a custom GPT versus a project. How do you prompt the thinking model versus the non-thinking model? What does thinking even mean? Mm-hmm. How do you create an image using their new image model? How do you do their audio transcription? How do you have a back and forth? One tool, you can go so deep that along the way, you can accumulate so many micro skills that will make you more competent in this domain. So don't worry about the thousands of tools. Worry about one of the super app tools that can do all kinds of things. Go deep into that. You could stay in that rabbit hole for 3 to 5 months, and not only will you be more contextually aware of generative AI, but you'll also be better than 90% of the population that think they're using these tools properly. They learn how to use 15 of them for 15 seconds, but they know none of them at the level of depth and breadth that you need to be really powerful.
That's amazing. Amazing advice. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show. We'll put links to both your communities and your YouTube in the show notes. And thank you all for taking us on your journey and let us be part of your story. This has been I Garlic and the Garlic Marketing Show.